I'm the only white face in this area. You don't belong here. Stop, I'll shoot you in the back.
Yo, what's up? Mike from Copville here to talk about Tasty Gains creatine gummies. I would never push a product I don't use. I didn't take creatine until I ran into Tasty Gains and started taking these gummies because they're simple. No powder, no mixing, just pop a gummy in, 1 gram of creatine per gummy. What are the benefits of creatine? Increase water to the muscles to get that sick pump in the gym. Better recovery, more power during your workout, and studies are now showing it's helping with the brain, which I need all the help I can get. So go to tastygains.com, use code COPVILLEOG for 20% off. This is the real deal, simple, easy, and we'll get that pump going so you look good for the ladies or men. What's up, guys? Another edition of Locked Up with Copville, and I have Jesse Ryan, who is the man that set up the Locked Up with Copville podcast studio, the man behind Not in St. Lucie with Sheriff Keith Pearson from Maximus Media. He also films for Okachobee County Sheriff's Office, several other agencies in Florida. What's up, my dude?
What is up, man? That intro, bro.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
Bro, stop, bro. I'll shoot you in the back.
That's my man, Jerry Worms. And that I put that together I wanted it to be more like me, just very basic, straight to the point, no fancy shit. I had people offer like all kinds of cool intros and guys were making me demos. I'm like, I want straight to the facts. So I think that takes you straight to the facts.
That's it. And
so what's up, my dude?
I gotta say that's one of the videos that I saw on your page. Like when you first posted that Top Goon, the Jerry Worms compilation, bro. Yeah. That is gold. So that is that is law enforcement media gold, bro.
You know that though. It was gold, and it's also one of the videos that led to the demise of the first page. That video got flagged after 6 months up. They flagged that as violence and some other shit, and it started the downfall of the original page. So
it's not violence, bro. It's just law.
No, I think it was
community engagement.
I want to say I talked a lot more smack on that first page. I got a lot more complaints. This page that I'm at now, 51,000 and change. Seems like there's more engagement as far as story views, and I don't have as many. I don't have warnings. I'm not in the doghouse all the time with them. So, but yeah, that's Jerry. August 16th, for anybody who's watching this, Jerry Worms will be live in Miami at our live show for Counterculture. So you want to meet the man, the legend, the original street goon, Jerry Worms, August 16th. And Jesse, I appreciate it, man. Dude, you set up the studio. I'm looking around, man. I think about the day you walked in this empty bedroom, and it was
now it's all nice and done up. That backdrop came out freaking prime.
Yeah, was it gutted when you came over the first time? Did I remove the beds?
Absolutely empty.
It was empty. We had an empty room.
Nothing in there.
And here we are. Here we are, like episode 17, I think now. And
golly, bro.
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep up, and I'm watching, and I'm like, it turned out good, man. Especially what you guys are doing over there with Counterculture, those guys, and
I appreciate it.
And Copville's really, putting a lot of cool stuff on the map.
I appreciate
especially
it.
For Florida, especially for us here, right?
Yeah, and it's I reach all the way to like Australia, England, New York City, LA, but I notice much more engagement in Florida. I get a lot of contacts now from Florida, guys reaching out, and it's been pretty cool. And I know a lot. I know the same guys over there in Okachobee. I know a lot of those guys watch, and it's been a cool thing. And I really, I do. I appreciate, you walked in, you didn't have to, you didn't charge me a dime. It was all out of a handshake friendship deal. You came in, you set up the studio, you told me what to buy. You got this whole thing in motion.
I support goonery, bro.
Yeah, you do.
That's all it is.
So, like I said, those who don't know, this is the mastermind behind it. If you saw Keith Pearson TikTok or video or Not in St. Lucie, you were pretty much on the end of the camera on all those, weren't you?
Man, yeah, it was definitely a wild ride. I will say you got to give Keith that credit, because I was just the one that would film his things. Majority of the time, he would come into the office and say, "Follow me, let's go. We got to go film this." And I'm like, "You got it, bro. You got it." Some of the things that we came up with together as a team, it's great. Even his past PIO, I won't say her name, but she's great. I've learned a lot of things from her as well. But going in there as a contractor, and being able to work alongside somebody like Keith Pearson, really just it set the bar. It set the bar for a lot of things.
how did you meet Keith?
So I moved to Florida. I want to say about 3-4 years ago. He started his campaign, and I was running an e-commerce store at that time called American Nation. We were doing like Trump flags, Trump shirts, and stickers, and all that cool stuff. And I hit him up and I said, "Hey, man, I got a couple ideas. I got a couple ideas for videos for you because I saw him come across my feed." And from there, he kind of just he opened the door to communication, and that was pretty much it. He saw what I could do, I saw what he could do, and we kind of just came together at that. And he contracted me out for the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, which opened up a lot of doors for me, man. A lot of cool doors. Keith Pearson, that content, and I gotta say, I mean, you probably know it well. And I'm not a deputy, I'm not a cop, I'm no experience in law enforcement. I just like filming you guys. You know it best that Keith Pearson is probably one of the most proactive sheriffs that we have seen in Florida. I mean, I want to say even more proactive than Grady Judd, in my experience at least, because you got this.
Grady Judd and Wayne. I'll say it. You don't have to. Grady Judd and Wayne Ivy do a lot of this. I'm not saying the most proactive in Florida. I'm telling you, he's besides maybe Mark Lamb and maybe neck and neck. Keith Pearson was the most proactive sheriff in America. There's no doubt about that. Bro, there's some good chiefs. There's a Keith Kendisoma up in Sandy Springs. There's some other guys around. The guy in Doral is pretty good. The chief of the Doral Police Department is real squared away. He's got but as far as being out on the street and doing the job, there wasn't anybody better than Keith. And some guys don't like it. My buddy Dominic Izzo has been real hard on Keith. He doesn't like the flashy jazzy. I love it. I fucking love it. The first time I saw it, I was like, this motherfucker's nuts, dude. I fucking love it. So I just a shit talking dude, and I respect it, and I like that he got out there and did it.
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's definitely an acquired taste, but I mean, you just don't see other sheriffs kicking doors down in their their white uniform and the sheriff uniform. He's hopping fences. He's like, roll on this. I remember one day, it was early in the morning. It was like 9 a.m. I'm in the office, and he comes in. He says, "We got to go. There's a criminal out there stealing stuff, and we got the beat on him. We got to go get him." We're in the Scat Pack, bro, going 120 miles an hour down Midway, banging a left on 25th, drifting, and I'm looking over, and I'm like, what the frick is going on? You got me, bro? Like, you're a pro at this, right? And I look over at him, he's having the time of his life. Like, that guy, he was dedicated to his job, still is dedicated to his job, doing great things for Trump with the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. But he loved what he did. And everybody I speak to that knows him, that has met him and worked with him, says the same thing. Like,
and he never stops. He's the deputy director of Homeland Security for like the civilian, law enforcement. He basically, well, I spoke to him. He basically, and a lot of these guys will know I'm talking about, the Stone Garden Grant, which is a nationwide grant that provides money to agencies for Homeland Security and illegal immigration. Keith is in charge of that grant and the liaison between Homeland Security for law enforcement. So he's out, he's in Texas all the time. He's out on the ground doing stuff, helping, these agencies with the money and getting the grant. I think my agency got like 600 grand stuff. It's a lot of money. It provides a lot of support for license plate readers, fuel, overtime, all that stuff. And what a better guy to, I can't think of a better guy to go do that than Keith Pearson.
Yeah.
Here's where I relate to Keith. And how do I say this? When you do what he does, there's a lot of people that talk shit. And for any dope cop like Keith, and I was in the same boat, I worked in narcotics for 7 years. People like to talk shit. The fish story grows, and you're a crooked cop, and you're a bad guy, and you did that's gonna follow and guys around. It followed me around. I know Keith had people talking shit about him, but it always seems to be the guys that do the most proactive police work and the guys that don't give a shit are the ones that also get jammed with that controversy that surrounds them. And I hate that. And, they tried to jam him up during the election and all this nonsense, the state attorney's office doing all this shit, throwing mud at him. And that's all politics. But I wouldn't want to work when you think of a sheriff, and he really was a guy, he was a deputy that just happened to be able to make sheriff, which doesn't normally happen. I can't think of a better guy to work with. And that's when
Oh,
guys
yeah.
try to talk shit about him and they try to say things. I'm like, bro, that dude is no different than me. That is the identical career path I led. People have all these controversies. I was investigated by the FBI and the DEA. They thought I was a crook, all this bullshit that follows me around. Hey, man, if you're going to go out and fucking raise hell and do shit like him, shit's going to follow you around. People are going to have nasty shit to say about you. But
Yeah.
if I'm going to stand out in the front lines with a guy, Keith is in my, would be in my top group of guys that
Oh, yeah.
I would want to go work for.
I would go with him to some of these briefings, in the morning, and the 5 o'clock shift coming in. I would go with him to kind of, record him talking to the deputies. And even many times when I wasn't recording, he was still the same person off camera than he is on camera. And there would be briefings where he's in there, he's talking to the deputies, these kids, bro. Some of these deputies are kids. They're excited to work. And he would say, go out there, arrest somebody, tase somebody, and pit somebody. Put them in jail. Let's go, but always stay safe.
Yeah.
And that was just the type of guy that I saw a lot of deputies like you, like yourself, that would want to work for that guy. That's why you guys become deputies. I think that's why most people join law enforcement, so they can go out there and, not to sound cringe, but go out there and fight crime and do good and get the drugs off of the street. But when you're a part of an agency that doesn't allow you to do that, the morale in yourself kind of goes down, right?
And I know you have the relationship you have with agencies, and I'll say it, I don't give a fuck. That place has gone downhill. I don't care what anybody says. I have a really good friend that works there that's in the command staff position. I love the dude, but I can tell you from a police officer of 23 years, you can see the difference. The changes that were immediately made were anti-morale and just unneeded. Uniform change, beard change, just specialty unit change. It doesn't make sense to me to take something that was going so well and drastically change it. You can say whatever you want, but I know I was a line level deputy. I didn't get promoted till like my 18th year, and that didn't last long anyway. I got demoted not too long after. So I've worked a grind, and I know the little things that sound stupid, like uniform, beard. They sound so minimal out loud, but those things mean stuff to people and deputies.
Absolutely.
And it's comfort, and it's easy, and that
Absolutely.
polyester is garbage, and your shiny boots are garbage, and your clean shaven face is garbage. And as soon as he left, he wasn't even 5 steps out the door, and that guy came in and just rearranged the whole building. And you hate to see that. Yeah, I feel terrible for those guys. And I know there's people that don't like Keith, and they were happy to see him go, and that's fine. But there's a lot of guys that didn't want to see him go, and their tongues are tied, and they can't. I know firsthand you can't say anything about your administration, and you'll end up on a podcast like me. Yeah, you'll end up like me, getting mysterious drug tests and all that. So. It sucks, but there's a place in the world for a guy like Pearson. I'm glad he moved up to where he is, and I see the video still. And obviously, it's not as wild and crazy, but he's still showing everybody that he's out there doing the job, and that it's a different thing. And you're still getting to work with him here and there, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I still have he'll contract me out, and I'll be able to work with him on DHS, Department of Homeland Security stuff. Recently, we were in Homestead, and he was holding a press conference with Ron DeSantis that I got to attend and film with him. Announcing, I think it's called the 247G program. Correct me if I got that wrong, but it's to allow law enforcement officers on the local and state level to be able to deport illegal immigrants. And Keith was behind, that initiative to get, all sheriffs in the state of Florida behind that program. So he always calls me. He always hits me up. He's, like I said, he's the same person on camera than he is off camera, and he's a good dude to know. He's a good friend of mine. And he's opened up a lot of doors here. So, always appreciative of Pearson. Even if he always supported his deputies. He always supported deputies. He was always there for everybody. But he was also there for his friends as well.
I met him late,
just coming in as a contractor.
I met him late into the game because of the page, but he invited me down. We did the podcast down there with you and him and I, and from that day forward, he was just the nicest dude. Called me, checked on me.
Oh yeah.
When I built this studio, he called and gave me some tips, and then showed me how his was built, and then every time I've reached out to him for anything, question, or I reached out to him to get some help for a guy out in Kansas that was indicted on that Breonna Taylor nonsense.
Oh,
He
God.
responded and all that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's a good dude. Like I said, you can say what you want to this. We all got something in our past. Everybody's got something to deal with, but I'm gonna pick my guys that I want to go fight a battle with. And
Yeah.
he's definitely a guy that I would I definitely put him in the squad, or want to be on his squad if I could. Were you with him on the super viral, the Scat Pack on the Turnpike?
No, I was not there for that. I was not
That's
there for that.
That's obviously the one that broke the
Bro.
internet. He was on. I think World Star. I think World Star posted it. Like it went.
Everybody posted it.
And ironically, I was involved in it, so it's funny that
I remember you guys talking about that on his podcast.
Yeah.
Is that when the guy, I forgot his name, but he was in like a Beamer BMW?
Yeah, it was a stolen like white BMW, and they came up.
Something.
I was in the South Florida Task Force for stolen vehicles, so I was getting all the updates, and then we had access to the. I was a desk jockey by then. I'd been demoted and banished, so I was riding. I was sitting here right like this, riding a chair, but I was able to access.
By the way, I'll probably never get an Indian River contract.
Probably not. I mean, I could call for you, but all the memes I make about them probably not going to get you in anywhere. But so yeah, I was watching on the cameras and I was able to help out. We had our guys stationed at the Turnpike, Osceola guys, and then St. Lucie was chasing them with South Florida, and that was a good one. That was the one,
bro. That was all of that had every ingredient for viral content. It was great. You had a busted up white Beamer. You had the Scat Pack. You had him. I'm St. Lucie County Sheriff Keith Pearson.
Franklin Sanders. That's the guy's name.
Sanders.
It rings in my head.
I always know him as No Comment. What's your name, buddy? Oh, No Comment. All right. Well, we got him with the Scat.
Gave him not happening. Not.
That's it.
Yeah.
And content like that, man, is it's not only valuable to an agency, I think, but it's also valuable for personal morale.
Yeah.
And that's something I also wanted to talk to you about, is because I saw a podcast of you. I think it was the Counterculture guys. You guys were talking about dancing firefighters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So as a media contractor, right, everybody's always afraid of this video camera. They're like, oh, God, here we go. They're going to make cringe TikToks. That's not. That doesn't work. It never works. It actually devalues your agency if you're making family-friendly content. I'm not saying don't make family-friendly content, but don't make your deputies dance. Don't make them do something that they don't want to do, because you're always going to see it come out through the camera. You're always going to see the look of uncomfortableness.
Yeah,
and that's that's
the ones
not. It doesn't work.
The ones I'm seeing now are they're driving me up the fucking wall. Are the ones where they do like they get out of the car and, hey, officer, how long have you been here? And they start to rattle the question. And they're like walking and doing it, and they're asking them all these stupid questions. You can tell.
Like, you can tell
they're not
like asking them.
Yeah, like what's your favorite movie? What's your snack? What's your And they're like, not only is it cringe, they're like, now you got a cop who's, if they wanted to be an actor, they would have gone to acting school, or they'd make a TikTok. You can tell the ones that don't want to do it, and then they're like moving and trying to talk at the same time. So now they look robotic. They're asking them the dumbest questions, and I don't know what we're marketing to with that. That's why I look at Keith Pearson's videos, or a guy like that, Mark Lamb, and some of these guys, people I know don't like these guys, and that's fine. And that's why I love disagreeing with people. I can think whatever I want, but when I look at those videos, I go, I want to work there. Like, I want to work for Keith Pearson. Now, if I see an agency posting like Atlanta PD with these black chicks dancing out of control and doing all this wild shit, and they're speaking like Ebonics, like, I don't think. Why? I guess if you're targeting that similar type of person, I want tough, fair, well-rounded people. And I don't think when you start posting cringe stuff like that, it draws that in. But I think we're to the point in some of those places where they're so hurting because of terrible policies, terrible politicians, terrible leaders, that they're just dancing their way into bodies and suits, and that's gonna lead to more crime. More problems, more injuries, more uses of force. But if you get a guy like Keith and go, all right, this dude's out here running around like a maniac, like, I guess if I go work there, I'm gonna have to do the same thing. So you either go, I don't want to work there because I'm a pussy, or I go, I'm gonna go work there because I want to do that kind of thing. And I think that's where that is one of the things in my mind would help with the hiring, the quality of candidate.
Oh,
Grady
absolutely.
Judd gets away with it because he's a big talker,
Listen,
and
it's Grady Judd, bro. He's the king.
he is the king,
Yeah,
man. But
the king of content. Grady
some
Judd
of the
kind of
stuff
did.
he is, but he, you know what? And I don't know where you stand on Grady. You don't, this is my opinion only. I was the same way. I kind of fanboyed like this dude. I've talked to people that work there. I've talked to people around. He's a huge anti-TRT guy, totally against testosterone. They're waiving the physical and mental hiring requirement and paying a $20,000 bonus to fill bodies.
No God.
So, and then Wayne Ivy's the other one, another one that just, I'll give it to them. They know what they're doing, but none of them dudes were out there in the scat pack chasing criminals and doing jump outs. Keith's got videos of him doing undercover drug buys with the dope unit, getting out and chasing people. So,
Yeah,
unfortunately, he's not here anymore. So, not,
yeah, and
as I
that's
like to
why.
say, not in St. Lucie, went to soft Lucie.
Oh God,
I'll say it.
bro.
I'll say it. It's definitely not what it was. And Palm Bay Police Department hates me, so St. Lucie County might as well hate me too. So I don't give a shit. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, and that's why I really like Okachobee County right now. But they've really allowed me to take their media, and obviously I have to report to a PIO in every agency I work with. But as a contractor, they've allowed me to kind of just free reign with content, and I'm treating it like it's my baby, right? Like their media was a little bit on the underside, but then you get the not in St. Lucie guy coming to Okeechobee, and you give him free reign, you
Now
get
you're doing
Okeechobee.
proactive stuff though. You're not doing
That's
like
what I love,
pre-stage. You're
man.
not doing pre-staged. Like I'm sure
No,
some of it is. I get
so
it.
you have
I see
to.
the
You
range
have to.
videos, like the range
Yeah.
shooting at the range. That's normal. But you're
Yeah.
doing a lot of cops type ride
Oh,
along
and
filming in
that's
progress
one of the
calls.
things that I pride myself on being a media contractor here in Florida, because there's a lot of media contractors, and there's a lot of people that I actually look up to. Low Jack Hit, Nick Off
Oh yeah.
Duty,
Mhm.
the videos that you guys post and seeing them what people want to see. But those two individuals that I named, those guys are like inspirational for me, because I watch their content and I say, man, I wish an agency would have posted that. Or man, those two individuals that I mentioned, LoJack and Nick Off Duty, I always say, I wish agencies would adopt that kind of style of community engagement when it comes to media, because one of my good friends, Paul Pettinghouse, he's one of the On Patrol Live camera guys. Travels literally the world. He does Survivor, but he travels the nation with On Patrol Live, and he said it right. These kind of videos and this kind of media is the world's greatest entertainment.
Mhm.
It's like when you have a police lights outside your house, what do?
Go look.
You go
Now they got
look.
Facebook groups. Every time the lights come on, they post
Every
where
time,
it's
like,
at,
what's
what's
going
going
on?
on.
What's going
Why's the
on in Douglas
helicopter
Park?
up?
What's
Yeah,
happening?
yeah.
Everybody's all over it. So that's one of the things that I really pride myself on, man, is that, obviously with agencies, you have to do some sort of, positive content, putting the word out there, some stage stuff. But when it comes to me, I enjoy ride along. I enjoy like proactive media, getting out there, showcasing, deputies, being deputies, being able to do their job and arresting people and putting them behind
Yeah.
bars where they
Well,
belong.
and here's these are just things pop in my wild head, but when we start talking about that, is Cops was the most fucking popular TV show of all.
Oh, bro, it's
Everybody
great.
watched Cops, good guys, bad. Why did we stop? I know the cancel cult, George Floyd, and all that stuff happened. The cancel culture swept through, but there wasn't a better recruiting video than a Cops episode.
Yep.
So I don't understand why we're not, like, why aren't we doing that? Why isn't it like that should be the standard? Like, if you want me to come, if you want to get good quality candidates to go, I want to work there, you should have every agency should have their own damn cop show. Like, you should be
Yep.
pumping out like the videos. You should be pumping out every time you put somebody away. But we have gone so soft, and I don't know where we're in fucking Florida too, man. Like, our
Oh,
governor doesn't
man.
give a shit. Like, but
Yeah.
we have soft ass agencies here in Florida that are just like, dude, Vero Beach Police Department. I worked there 23 years ago, 20. Like, they just act like crime doesn't exist, and they try every effort to like hide it. And that's most of Florida tries to hide it. They would cook the books on crime and try to make. I'm not a big fan of the administration at my old agency, obviously, but they do police work. I can't,
Yeah.
I can't be a prick all the way. I can be, but I'll say they put people in jail, they chase bad guys. And now, do they showcase it correctly? No. There was a time when I posted on the social media when I used to blow those dudes off like you did. I blow those guys out with pictures, videos, talking shit. My comment was bad, like fuck it, I didn't cuss, but I would make some savvy comment and put them on blast. But when you go back to the cops, the reason Jerry Worms' video is so popular because everybody watched it. Everybody watched all this shit. Everybody supported the cops, and through the pendulum of social media and the left taking control of the media, where before it was more unbiased, all that swung, and now it's like I say everybody, the majority of loudmouths, which is usually the left, hates on that stuff.
Yep.
And for some reason we pander to it. I am willing to bet $1 billion if we just went back to hardcore cops. On Patrol Live kind of does it, but if we just went back to that mentality, filming it, throwing bad guys around, I'm convinced America's gonna be like, yep, we're back. Like, we're back. That's what we want. We want our people in jail. And maybe that those quiet people on the right that just mind their business, go to work, come home, don't cause any big problems and scenes, they would maybe come back out and go, that's what we've been waiting for. Like, we're going to stick up and stand up for the, they silently stand for the police, but the left and the garbage is always louder. They always make more noise. And that's why we have these bogus recruiting videos and the LGBTQ fucking LMNOP shit and all this Pride Month stuff, because we're pandering to something. Why is law enforcement pushing the gay agenda? Like, be gay, do it all you want. But why are we decorating our cars and putting flags and having special parades? That's not what we're here for. We're here to protect you, to put people in jail, and to make sure you sleep at night and like nobody comes and murders you. All that other stuff is extra.
Yeah.
That's why I think recruiting videos is very simple. Like in the Army, they push play and I saw dudes jumping out of airplanes and shooting guns, and I went, there it is. I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah. And if agencies adopted that style of video, you're absolutely correct.
And I think you're going to swing back to the candidates being more, because you cannot look, dude. A lot of people who have no business being cops are becoming cops because I have Tyler said this the other day about, and I never thought about this. When you become when you're in the military, even the police world now, you can look at a chart and go, that's how much money I'm going to make for the next 12, 15, 20 years. I know it's coming. It's guaranteed unless I get arrested or get fired. I know it's coming. There's my scale. Military, if you make E9, go all the way to the top. So I think it's the benefits that they dangle, the stability, the pay you can see. And in your mind, if you can see the number and go, oh man, I'm going to make 73 grand in 3 years. That's amazing money. It's really not, but they think it is. That false sense of security is what sucks these people into this career.
Yeah.
And
it's a major letdown when they find out.
Yes.
And again, I'm not a sworn officer. I'm not a deputy. Never been one, but I see it every day with other agencies that I work with, because I don't only work with Okachobee, but other agencies. I see it. I see the morale going down. I see people super excited to start their careers in law enforcement, and then over a course of maybe 3 or 4 years, the morale is gone.
I think a lot of them got into it for the wrong reason. Like, immediately people want to go to school resource. Immediately people want to get promoted to detective or move. That's not how it works. And when I was in my day, it took me 5 years to get to a specialty unit. Like, I went to narcotics, but that took hundreds of drug arrests and hundreds of hours of reports and surveillance and on my own in a patrol car and domestic violence calls and shit reports. And it took hard work and time to move to that position. Now you kind of dance on in and you make friends and no, I don't want to do that. I want to go to this. And then off you go. And then they're so short with everything that they're just like, it's tragic. And this SRO position move to me is we're putting inexperienced, they're hiring people straight into SRO. That means they've never been in a fight on the street. They've never done any type of investigation on the street. Their firearms are probably proficiency is garbage, haven't any critical incidents. And now they're in charge of 1,000 kids, 500 kids.
One of our greatest assets, is our children.
I think that the whole problem is the recruiting and the way we're spinning this job, that it's some type of cool thing to do when it's not cool at all. It's difficult. It's mentally challenging. It's emotionally challenging, it's physically challenging, and it's you see the worst of the worst, you deal with the worst of the worst, and then but those recruiting videos don't show that. Like, that's why I think what you do is more realistic, to show people like, hey, look at this deputy in a fist fight, look at this deputy
Yeah.
running after somebody with a dog, or
Yeah.
crashing into him and pitting them. And that's what this job is about, not dancing through a parking lot or telling us what you eat for breakfast. Or
Yeah, I mean, in moderation, I guess, but when it's your entire,
I
when
get
it's
it.
your,
Yes,
when it's your
yes.
entire thing, absolutely not.
Yep.
And again, that's why I, appreciate the Okeechobee County Sheriff's Office for allowing me to do that for them. And since I've taken over, we've got almost 20,000 followers on TikTok in the span of 3 months. They're all amazed by it, right? They've never really tackled that. But when you put out good media like that, you reap the benefits of that growth. But also, to that point, to the main point here, is it also just helps with that recruiting
I
aspect,
agree.
because
I agree.
to your point, putting an SRO, and again, not a deputy, but putting an SRO in a school when they're inexperienced and they don't know anything about the beat, they don't know anything about street knowledge, they don't know anything about firearms or training, and they're trying to protect our greatest asset, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't
And
work out.
if the TikTok is the get ready with me shit, if the TikTok is a girl in her car putting on makeup, doing a review, going to Starbucks, and then some young girl at 18 goes, well, fuck, she gets to wear a uniform. So now guys are going to sweat her. I get to wear this tight pants and this tight outfit. I'm going to look good. And all I have to do is like drive around and make TikToks. And you cannot
I
tell
get to
me
go to
that these
Starbucks whenever I want.
these
Okay.
immature 18-year-old kids, 19-year-old girls are watching that going, oh man, this sounds really cool. I'm 5'1", 112 pounds. I'm going to go to the police academy. I'm going to carry a gun. And I'm going to go do this.
No.
And then when they're at 3 a.m. standing there with a dude with a felony warrant that's been to prison 3 times, and he smashes her skull in, it's like, that didn't seem like a good idea. But
Yeah.
it's a
And
failure all around. Like, we're just stuffing people in cars and sending them out, and I don't think we're vetting them properly. I don't think we're allowed. And I don't want to seem like I'm picking on females. So there's just as many men that should not be cops. It just, you can see it, and unfortunately, and this is me. This isn't you talking. This is me. I can see it. You can tell when you go, okay, this guy has no business doing this job. But I don't know why we don't step in and do something about it.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's a difficult job.
I could never do it. I can never do what you guys do. What
I
you
wouldn't want
guys
to do
have
it
to
again.
deal with.
I wouldn't want to do it again.
Yeah. No.
I would not. If I had to do it over, I would have done it again then.
Mhm.
If I knew what I knew now and I was 21, 22, I wouldn't do it in today's world. Not a
Yeah.
chance I would do this job.
And I've heard that a lot. It's not just you saying that. I've heard a lot of people say that. And being the media man and the contractor and seeing, deputies and getting to speak to them in that way, I hear that sometimes as well. It's like, man, this job is taking a toll on me. And it really sucks to hear, especially when it goes home with them. Because
Yeah.
it's not just them that are suffering. It's not just their mental that's suffering. It's also their family that suffers.
Yep.
It's also their kids, their friends, and it sucks that law enforcement is in a place right now that it does that to people,
Yeah.
because you guys, those who are watching and yourself, you guys are the protectors of our communities. You guys want to be out there and be proactive, put bad guys in jail. That's what you signed up to do. But when you join an agency that gaslights you into not doing your job, because if you do your job, you're going to get in trouble, or you're going to get an internal investigation or what have you, drug tested randomly, who knows. But if you always have that fear in the back of your mind, not only is it gonna mess with your mental, but it's also gonna mess with your morale to do the job.
Yeah.
And that just plays into everything else that we've been talking about. So
Yeah. And it's a snowball effect. It gets
That's it.
grows and grows. And then this is what I look at. This is why I think the agencies are responsible, because when that guy who's putting up with everything you just talked about, and he's a good dude, but eventually there's a limit for everybody. I don't care. Your Navy SEAL, your war fighter, your all your guys, your athletes, your elite athlete. There's always a point where everybody breaks at some point. And then they go do something stupid. They go throw an extra punch, or they get frustrated and they fucking yell and scream on camera and they hit their moment of like breaking. For some guys, that breaking point takes them to prison. For some guys, it takes them to getting written up and fired. But at no point will the agency ever take responsibility for
No.
building that up. They'll just go, "Oh man, this guy's wild. This guy, he said fuck on video. Like, well, we got to do something about that."
Yeah.
They don't take in that. And who usually does that? If you look at who normally does that, I always say this: it's the guys, it's the high performing guys that do it over and over and over again. Because if you sit under a tree and you don't do anything all day, you make a career out of that. The odds of you getting, it's like playing. You're not going to win the lottery unless you play, like I would think, every day.
Yeah,
you're not going to win the discipline lottery if you sit under a tree all day, because, well, you are going to win because you're never going to get in trouble. But when you're always doing something, you're always out, eventually you're going to do something stupid. And I don't mean like you're going to, shoot a guy for no reason or plant drugs on somebody. You're going to say something stupid, or you're going to, you're going to hip toss a guy and take him to jail. Maybe you get a little hot headed, still need to go to jail. You're going to do something that doesn't look great or is not super, you wouldn't want to like put it on your resume, but it happens. Yeah. And then you get over disciplined, or you get labeled a certain way, and it's like the agency just isolates you and goes, "Oh my God, look at it. What's wrong with this guy?" But nobody knows that you dealt with a shitty administration or all the behind the doors.
Nobody sees that buildup. No, they don't see
it's just, and then the agency just goes back and like, "Oh, that dude's, whoa, what's wrong with him?" And I can't tell you the DMs and stories, and it's unfortunate because as cops, you can't do what I'm doing. You can't come on here and talk about it, or you'll be.
And that part sucks as well. By the way,
it's bad, man.
I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on in Okachobee, but we have some First Amendment auditors that come to town.
Okay.
Right, and they're posting videos on their YouTube channels. I've even filmed them, and I've
seen it. The guy, I've seen you on there. The one guy. Yeah.
And it sucks because, I mean, for example, this guy is filming a woman deputy. I won't mention her name, but he's calling her, you cunt, you DEI hire, you B word, you F word, and following this deputy, and literally just talking crap to her, and you just have to sit there and take it. And when he goes and he posts that video online, you cannot say anything to him. You can't defend yourself. You can't talk crap back. You can't, and it's hard, bro.
I like how you said cunt, you said cunt and then said F word, B word, and didn't say those ones. That's pretty good. That was good. I was like, all right, I guess he draws the line the other way. That was pretty good. No, and but and it sucks, and that's the extreme. But you can't say anything against the agency. Well, you can, but you have to be prepared. So I've done some extensive, with some help of a very close person to me, I've done some extensive research into the First Amendment with cops, and we actually absolutely do have a First Amendment. What you can't do is you can't go in the public and say the sheriff's a piece of shit or my sergeant's a fucking piece of shit. What you can say is the sheriff did X, Y, Z, and if it's something the public should know, you're protected. Or if you don't identify anything and just say, I'm a cop, I'm coming on here, this is what I think about the job, you don't talk about your agency, this is what if you don't represent it. Now, of course, there's going to be backlash somewhere. They'll cook something up on you, but I've researched it. The only way you can really get fired and it'll stand up is if you go out in public and say, "Oh, the sheriff's a scumbag piece of shit," and then he can fire you and be like, "Hey, this guy's undermining the agency, he's talking bad." But if you go out and say, "I know the sheriff is," and it's legit, like, "I know the sheriff is embezzling money and hiding money and he's committing crime," if it's needs of the public to know, and it should be known by the public, you are protected by the First Amendment and the Supreme Court. Yeah. If you are just talking bullshit, you're not. But if you take all that out of it and you are generically on a podcast talking to me about just police work or whatever you want to talk about, you have a First Amendment right like everybody else. Now, you have a First Amendment right like everybody else. When your car gets inspected 3 times a week and there's mud on your tires and you get written up, that's the price you got to pay for speaking out. But you can't be fired per se for just talking and having a First Amendment right. So you have a right to say as long as it's within, can't be on here, using racial slurs and doing anything stupid.
I would say as long as it's public records information.
Yeah, I mean, but nobody, very, very few cops are willing to talk because we've been it's ingrained in our head. We have no rights, but you do, and that's where that stand, and that's kind of what I started this for, and hopefully pick up steam is like for guys that have already been done wrong. But I'd like to see it go to guys that are still active that say, hey, I'm done. Like, you can't bully. And that's kind of where I mean, I took a stand. I supported Milo for sheriff over the current sheriff, Milo Thornton. Believe he was a better candidate. And I started to express that. And when I got railroaded, I actually got told the day I got transferred, unofficially told that you shouldn't have went to those debates and you shouldn't have supported the candidate against the sheriff. And I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have exercised my rights as a citizen. Then I was supposed to. I can't pick. And in the old days, you were fired. Like if you supported anybody but the sheriff before the career service bill, you were fired. Like you walked in and they were like, goodbye, you're out of here. You didn't support the sheriff. Now you're protected by a career service bill, but they can do what they did to me is just for the needs of the agency. We're transferring you from your 23 years on patrol.
They push you out.
Yeah, they're going to put me in the jail, which eliminates overtime. Eliminates a take-home car, changes my schedule, moves me from senior to junior because now I'm reclassified in the jail, so I lose seniority. So basically, I'm a midnight jailer where I've put hundreds and hundreds of people. My life's now in danger more. I'm stuck in. So yeah, they can do what they want, kind of.
Yeah, they're essentially making you leave at that point.
Yeah, and there is a thing called, for guys listening, there's a thing called forced resignation, where if you can get a lawyer on board to prove that you have been targeted and moved in such a manner that you had to leave, there's repercussion for that. McNichol's Law out in California, they're on Instagram. They're big. They don't do anything in Florida, but they will help you find an attorney. But unfortunately in Florida, it's damn near impossible to sue the police or an agency. In California, they do it all the time and they win. For some reason in Florida, their juries are sympathetic to police agencies, and you can't, it's a little rougher here, but that's the stuff that happens to cops and good cops that speak out. And like I said, my DMs are full of it. Guys getting written up for nonsense, and
that's why I support what you're doing, because I feel like sometimes you're a voice for the voiceless, right? You are hearing these people's complaints, but you're also putting them out there anonymously, right? If somebody comes to you with a complaint, and I've seen you do it many times, where people message you, hey Mike, this is going on here. Please don't put me out there, but this is what's happening. This is bullshit. Let it be known. And you will make it known, and you will keep their their anonymity. But that's why it's important for people like you to be outspoken in that manner, because you're helping. You're not only calling out bullshit, and you're not only posting, some funny memes, but you're also helping these people, deputies, law enforcement, when they need an out to express themselves. And that's why media is important. Your media is important.
And look at the agencies that don't like me, and I think you're going to see a pattern. And that's the agencies that are guys are getting.
That's the agencies you should probably stay away from, people.
And and I call them out for what. I call them out for stuff everybody else can see. Yeah. I don't make stuff up. I don't target them just to pick on people. Not 90%, I would say, of the stuff that I post about other agencies when I do the, you're out of touch and the fucked up uniforms and stuff, usually that's people send it to me, or I call out TikTok cops or other, whatever. It gets sent to me and somebody's like, look at this. And I'm like, okay, look at this. This is something that I think that I would not do. And I think the consensus of law enforcement would not do. So I'm going to post it, because when you mess up, your agency's damn sure going to post you. I ended up on the news. I ended up with this guy. So they're going to do it to you. So why not do it back? And we have, this is the beginning. These podcasts, Counterculture, myself, these other guys that are running police podcasts. This is the beginning of finally coming back the other direction. Like, okay, you've had us under your control for years, 20, 30, 40. You've been able to fire us. You've been able to write us up. You can make our lives miserable. You can transfer us to midnight shift. You can make our schedule terrible. You can restrict us from working overtime. You can do anything you want. They really can. They can make your life miserable. But how do we get back? Violence isn't the answer, because we'll go to jail.
No.
Just throwing stuff in the wind and hoping it sticks isn't the answer. So let's what I do is try to be calculated and honest and say here's the facts.
Yep.
This is what I was told. This is what I can show you. I don't spread lies, rumors. This is the actual transcripts. This is the video, like I did an episode last week live about my IA. Here's the actual video. Here's the words that came out of everybody's mouth. This is my opinion. This is your information to formulate your own opinion.
Yep.
And that's kind of what I do. And I don't really argue. You know, the first page I did argue a lot with people and get back. Now I don't. This is what I have. Look at it. You don't agree with it? You think that holster is fine? Good. You think that gear setup's fine? That's your choice. This is what I think. Do you think this administration is good? I don't, but I'm not going to go 1,000 times back and forth. This is what I see.
Yeah.
Make your decision. And that's, you know, this platform is exactly that. You want to come on? Come on. You want to be anonymous?
Yep.
Be anonymous. I'll get your message out. But
and that's always the best. That's always the best way to go, man. Is if you present facts to people and you tell them, hey, form your own opinion on this. This is what I might think, but what's your opinion? You ask them instead of making them choose your side or choose the other side. You let them form their own opinion based on the facts. That's the best way to go about it, because not only are you, you know, getting that message out there, but you're also letting the viewer choose their own answers from what you've presented to them. So that protects you, you know, and anybody else who's gonna, you know, do that. That protects you guys from somebody saying, "Oh, well, Mike posted false information or did this and this and land bashed you." No, these are the transcripts. These are the facts. These are photos. This is the proof.
Whenever somebody sends me something, I always say, "Can you send me the IA file? Can you send me the documents?" Because obviously I'm not stupid. I get messages from guys that tell me these wild stories about how they got screwed over, and about 3 seconds into it, I'm like, "That's your fault." Like everything you just told me, you shouldn't be a cop and you should have been arrested or fired. Like I get those messages, and I'm like, "Sorry, man. Like, they got you on this one. They're right. Like, you were 4 counties over in your work car, like in some girl's house. Like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Like,
that's probably why you're getting in.
Yeah, that's why that's probably not great. And you're married too on top. Like, stop. But when you get these guys, like, you know, I got a guy that says he's proactive on the interstate and he keeps stopping cars out there, and they're writing him up for not asking permission to go. It's like, I got to ask permission to sit on a certain road. Like, that's nonsense. And you know, just time and time again, I get these stories and these messages where you can tell it's like, this is just targeting. And it's, you know, and it's a lot of them are big city guys. Like, I got a guy that's up in the Detroit area. I think he just filed his whistleblower stuff and he called out like a major agency administration. It's like, good for you, man. Like, that's tough to do. That's tough to go against a large government. And, you know, I did it. I went against, and it's not even large. I went against the grain, and I paid the price. And it's, you know, they ran me out, and, you know, I gave them a little ammunition at the end. I don't hide anything. You know, I was going to fail a drug test for steroids. I have no problem admitting it.
Yeah.
But they knew I was on steroids, including the head guy. He knew for years. But I gave them that. But up until that point, I didn't. All I did was stand my ground and stand the ground for everybody coming to me going, dude, this place is fucked up. We need somebody to bring it out. And what's funny now is all those same people that did that fucking doubled back now and support this fucking moron and his ridiculous budget. But at the time when he was going against Milo and they all wanted Milo and I was getting hundreds of calls, it was, Mike, you got to say something. Mike, and I did. I started ramping it up on Facebook. I started ramping it up in my posts. I started putting it out there. And then when he won, for some reason, none of those people call me anymore. They don't really care what happened to me. So I found out, but
that's
you know what? I don't
that's
regret
politics.
it. I don't regret because I don't regret doing what was right. Because this guy in charge here should not be in charge here. He's not capable of doing what he's doing. Budget's a disaster. That's all over the news right now. And he's in over his head. And I think, you know, I supported the right guy and the guy that should have won. And, you know, I don't regret it. And I was this dude's best friend at one point, man. And that's my point, is it doesn't matter to me that we're friends. If you're not doing what's right by the agency and by the people, I'm not, dude, I could have laid down like a bitch. I could probably be way up in that administration right now, like his little bodyguard he's got over there. Could have probably been me because I'm bigger than that guy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it, dude. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and say, I'm going to support this fuckery just because I know this guy and we
Your
go
moral
back.
compass is a little too high. That's just what it is.
No,
You have
people
moral
tell you I'm
compass.
the piece of shit because of this, that, and the other. But like I said, I look at it the opposite. Like, I stood the ground of what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And what
Yeah.
you're doing is not right. And you're screwing good people. And you
Yeah.
can do it. You can
That's
do it. You can do it with somebody else. I don't need that team. I don't want to be on that team.
that's what politics is like, man. And I actually went through that. I think I told you about this. It was January 6th. On the night of January 6th, I was in St. Lucie County. We were doing the swearing in thing, and the new administration's person came up to me, and we had a meeting, and Keith was in that meeting, and he said, Jesse, we love what you're doing here. We love what you have created. We know that it's Keith's last day, but we'd love to keep you on board here in our county with this new administration. We know, and I think I could say this publicly. I really don't care. We know that the new guy isn't going to be too well on camera, but we'd love for you to continue on what you're doing for the new team. And that night, they said that to me during the day. That night, I was with Keith. I was with his family, and we were preparing to do the swearing in. And I just kind of went to him and I said, what do you think about this, Keith? And Keith said, it's up to you at the end of the day, man. They're gonna up your pay for sure. And he even said in the meeting, we'll give you whatever you want. We want your media here for us. Do what you did for Keith. Do it for us. And I had gone to Keith and I kind of talked to him about it. And at the end of the day, he said it's up to you. And that's just same thing. It's a morale thing. And I called him that night, 3 a.m. Is it was the guy that was getting things ready for the new team. I called him at 3 a.m. I said, look, man, I appreciate the offer. Really juicy offer. I appreciate it because I don't know what I'm going to do after this, but I'm going to have to respectfully decline until you guys kind of figure your things out. And serving St. Lucie County, my personal community, has been an honor, but it's just not for me. And I'm glad I made that decision.
I think you made the right decision.
I think I made the right decision.
Yeah,
Nothing to say. Great agency, but I think I made the right decision.
Yeah.
And I've been able to kind of prosper from there.
Well, that's a tough transition. I mean, I get what you're saying. You talk to Keith, but as a human being, it's like,
Yeah.
he lost to that guy. It's like now you're going to go work for him. So that's one aspect. The other aspect
Yeah.
is it's not the same agent or it's not the same
It
administration.
would never.
I don't think.
It wouldn't be a non-St.
No, I don't think you would have been doing anything close to
No.
what you're doing, even with
No.
Okachobee. Nothing close to what Keith's doing, and definitely not what Okechobee's doing. They're wearing, like I said, they're wearing shiny fucking shoes and all that. And I mean,
And that's why, like I said earlier, that's why I'm really, Sheriff Noel Stevens and Chief Deputy Mike Hazley here in Okeechobee. They're allowing me to kind of.
they're good people. I've never, I never hear anything bad about.
Oh,
and
man.
I've worked with. I don't know how long they've been in charge, but I know Roy. We talked about Roy, and I've known those guys for a long time. I've been going over there to Okeechobee and helping out with dope since 2007, 8. They come over here and never really had any issues. Never really had anybody say anything bad about them. I see what you guys are posting. I see your videos. They look squared away, and they look like they're doing good work. Like that's good stuff.
That's what the majority of the deputies here, often say is that because the deputies here in Okeechobee, they live in Okeechobee, right? But Okeechobee is such a small town, family oriented. That's what I hear most of the deputies say. The pay isn't that great, but it's a family unit. Those words exactly. Hey, we know we're not going to get rich here in Okeechobee. We know the pay is low, but the fact that Sheriff Noel and Chief Deputy Mike Hazleaf are running this agency as a family unit to where if my daughter has a softball game, they're going to allow me to go watch my daughter play while still being on the clock. Like it's a family unit. They have their deputies back from what I've heard, from what the deputies tell me. And it's cool to see that a sheriff and top guys here at this agency are just allowing a contractor like me to come in and just say, Jesse, we know you know what you're doing, freaking do it.
Yeah,
and that's it. And I love it.
And here's the thing. This is easy. You wouldn't bring an unknown third party in like you if they were all fucked up. because they wouldn't want you to see what's going on. They wouldn't want
That
you to be
too.
around it.
That
I can tell you Indian River County is self video. They're not bringing anybody to walk around that
They're not
building.
bringing me in. No.
No, they don't even let Copville pictures stay on the internet. They delete those. So
I saw that, man, and I
yeah,
remember I saw that on my feed, and I think I
yeah.
commented on it, and I
You
said,
did comment.
"Yeah, good
Yeah.
comment." And
They
immediately it was
absolutely
gone.
violated the public records law by deleting an
no.
entire post, reposting it, and then deleting just one picture. But I'm just gonna say, like, that tells you, to me, that shows what kind of if Mike Dilks is wrong and I'm a piece of shit, everything I say is bullshit. I made it up. I'm disgruntled. I'm a piece of garbage. Why entertain it?
Yeah.
If somebody comes at me and with a bunch of nonsense, I'm like, let that dude. I had a dude coming at me. I had one of the guys coming at me, one of the pages, saying all this shit. I didn't respond. But if I think that they're onto something, then I'm going to overdo it. So by deleting anything with my information and do it, it seems like maybe I'm hitting the nail on the head about the stuff I say about them if they are going that far to get rid of it and suppress it versus just fuck it, like let it go the way it goes. So I think that tells you, and they're not bringing anybody in. They don't want anybody to see what's going on over there. So to see the transparency of Okachobee, to let somebody come in, ride around their deputies, because if anything, you know, if I'm riding with you and I hate the fucking place when that camera's off, I'm gonna be like, hey man, this place fucking sucks. Like, you know, you're the media. They're gonna want to talk to you. You're the ears. So you would be the first one to know the truth.
Oh, absolutely. And
after about 2 or 3 ride-alongs, you're gonna be their bitching buddy, and they're gonna tell you everything is wrong.
I'll be the ears for them. And I'm not, you know, that plays into the job as a contractor. It's always important for somebody like me to have a home base, right? And Okeechobee is pretty much my home, you know, contracting base, and it's all about just making those relationships and building that trust with deputies, because I'm not going to say that every single deputy in Okeechobee County is saying, "Oh yeah, it's great here in Okeechobee, Jesse, is family unit," right? I'm not saying that, and that just plays into trust. Because when I first started here in Okeechobee County, it's freaking small town. Golly,
yeah, it is.
Got me saying golly.
They got that one bull, they got that
big
bull downtown, and then but you blink, you're gone.
When somebody like me comes in, right? What's up, guys? I'm here to film you. And they're like, what the heck's going on here, man? And you know, it was hard for me to build that trust with Okeechobee.
I'm sure.
But I mean,
they probably called you a snitch, and
you're
the police. You're the snitch.
Yeah, that's it. Like, this guy's working with this. Like, oh man. But you know, and it took me a while. It took me a couple. You know, it took me about a month.
I remember you telling me when you first started. You told me. I think we talked one day, and you're like, "Hey, man, it's like it's a new agency, and I don't know if they trust me." And
I'm just like, what do I? I'm asking you, like, what do I do? How do I do this? Because I mean, I think you know me well enough to where I'm a chill enough guy. I don't. You know, I don't like to get into any BS, or I just like to show up, do my job, film some content, and make some TikToks.
Cool stuff. Even though the word TikTok makes me jump every time you say it.
And I think now Okeechobee County is kind of more accepting of the media once they see. But to the point I was making is that it takes a lot of trust to do this and be in that position. Because I do hear a lot of, you know, venting. There's a lot of people who vent to me, and you know, when you're spending, golly, I'm in a squad car with a deputy for about 11 hours at times. You know, we got to talk about something. And I always make sure I remind them all my contracts, you know, they're protected by NDAs. So anything you say to me is never going to be repeated.
When they take those calls from those nurses, they're not supposed to be talking to you. You hit the pause button for them.
I hit that. Hey, I ask them if they have a friend. Does she have a friend that needs a meeting?
Oh yeah. What's the coolest so far out in Okeechobee? What is your what's the one that sticks out? What's the coolest call you've been on?
Oh man, gosh, I would have to say there's a number of them. I will say the coolest video that we've done so far is the narcotics unit actually allowed me to film a joke video of their new canine, which was a Chihuahua. And
I saw that one. Yeah, I did see that one.
Bro, so sometimes I'll just be one of the guys, he brought over his Chihuahua, and I'm like, bro, we gotta do a video with that fucking Chihuahua, man. Like, you gotta put him in a vest. And he's like, I don't know, man. I'm like, dude, bring him to the office tomorrow. We're doing a video. So that was one of the coolest things because, I mean, narcotics guys, they're supposed to be the guys, get the camera away from me. I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
be on film. And there's sometimes that I get that, but it was really cool for them to, one of the moments that sticks out is it was really cool for narcotics guys to come up to me and say, you know what, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's go, run it. And I made sure you blur their faces, voice the change the voice. But I mean, there's a lot, man. There's too much to kind of. Everybody thinks Okeechobee's kind of like there's nothing going on here. There's
No,
a
there's some
lot.
good stuff. We used to
There's
do a
some
lot of drug
stuff,
investigations over
man.
there. Yeah, there's some
One
stuff.
one thing that sticks out for me, I think the investigation's over, so I can. One thing that sticks out is they had pulled over a guy. It was like 11 o'clock at night. This guy had a bushel of meth, bro, and a pit bull puppy. And the craziest thing is he had just got out of prison a week prior, and he's already back to it.
Rehabilitated. Yeah,
Right,
rehabilitated.
right. It worked for you, buddy. Now you're going back. So there's a lot of memorable things, uh, but sometimes I get so joggled, bro,
Yeah.
that it's like,
You're having a
I
good
have
time.
people
I mean,
coming up to me and saying,
that's you're having a good time, and
"Oh, that's it, that's
they're
it." I
putting.
will say the most memorable one from Pearson would be that call where we went. It's like 9 in the morning. You got this kid in Fort Pierce stealing cars all night, I guess, breaking into cars. I think he was like 17 years old. And then I guess Keith got the drop on him and said, "Hey, we got to go." So that's what I was mentioning when we were going like 120 miles an hour down Midway, made that right on 25th. He's drifting. He's going all the way down like downtown Fort Pierce, MLK Avenue, the worst. And he's going in these ditches, drifting and going. And they finally caught up to this kid and they sent the dog on him. I think it was Fort Pierce PD was there as well. And they got the dog on him, and that was my first dog bite I've ever witnessed. It was great. It was the most epic thing. It was like golly, I just got to drift in this scat pack in an inner city, living my absolute dream. Because when I was a kid, I would watch Cops. I would watch these shows. I always had a thing for media. I've been doing media for 15 years. And it's freaking cool to think back. And sometimes I think, like, you ever see those movies where it freeze frames? It's like you're probably asking how I got here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Every day for me, every day when I'm going 120 in a scat pack to chasing some criminal down the 70 because he's throwing nails in the firefighters parking lot, something stupid. I always think how the hell did you get here? But
Well,
I
that's
love
and you
every
know
single
what?
minute of it.
It's good that there's people like you and you enjoy it, because some people call you a nerd or this that, but I think it's great. I think
Yeah.
that you need people to want to do what you do and showcase it. And you have a passion for law enforcement. You're like, hey, I didn't want to do it, but I want to do the next coolest thing, which is ride around. You're still in danger. You get issued a vest. I see you wearing a vest. You're out in the public.
yeah.
You're with these guys. You're on real calls, so it's not like you're just doing parking tickets and stuff. You're out on
Yep.
dog bites. You're out on narcotic search warrants. You're out riding around. So it's cool. And I think that is the stuff that we showcase the real side of the job. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about
yeah.
social media. That is a recruiting video. That is if you go to talk to somebody and you're in, let's say you're an hour away, you're north, I don't know, in Orlando, and somebody says, "Oh, what are you doing?" You tell them, and then they're thinking about, I'm moving to Florida. I'm looking for an agency, and you happen to do what you're doing for Okachobee. You're one of the best spokesmen / recruiters there could be, because you're like, hey, I get to see,
Check this video out.
yeah, I get to see behind the scenes. I know what's really going on, and that's when I talk about an agency being transparent to bring you in. You're an independent contractor. You can leave there and say whatever you want, but you have nothing but good things to say. And that, to me, that holds more value than the get ready with me video or the officer walking through the parking lot saying what they had for breakfast and why they should work here. You're a real life person, independent contractor. You're videoing this agency. You're seeing all the backdoor stuff, and you're like, hey, this place is great. And that's the guy. I would listen to you over anybody else. I'd be like, let me talk to him. Like, what do you think of that place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get to see it for real. So I think that's really cool. And we need that. We need that press. I think that is, if more, like I said before, if more agencies did what you're doing and hired people like you and showcase that side of the job, that's the way we attract good candidates. Because people always say to me, well, how do we get good people? How do we get people? If people see that and go, okay, I have to go do that every day, They're either going to go, I don't want to, or they're going to go, man, I really want to do that. Maybe they're a little out of shape. Maybe they're a little small. Maybe they need to tweak some things. But I see that and I'm like, just like when I made SWAT, eventually I was like, all right, I want to go do that. I'm gonna have to get in really good shape, train really hard. I want that same standard for law enforcement, not just for SWAT. I want guys to go, I can't be 350 pounds and go sitting behind a car and I can't move. I want guys to go, well, shit, this agency's out there chasing these dudes. They're dog biting. They're running around. This guy's filming it. I want to go do that. How do I do it? Well, you got to lose 25, 30 pounds. You got to get yourself in shape. You got to, I'd rather have that. I'd rather be picking from that pool than the get ready with me pool, or I want to be an SRO pool, or any of the other shit. I'd rather, that's how you change law enforcement. You showcase the real side of the job, the real work.
Yep.
And there are really good cops. There's a lot of really good cops. Fortunately for me, I get a lot of them follow me and I get to interact with a lot of them. People that aren't up to par, obviously I make fun of them and I don't get to talk to them, but the group of people that I have, this community and this podcast, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take a guy like you that's showcasing it, put it out there, sharing it and saying, how do you change law enforcement? You be like this agency and you do this kind of stuff.
You pitch somebody, you tase them, and you put them in jail.
That's it. Bad guys, basics of law enforcement. Bad guys go to jail.
To bring out my inner Keith Pearson, you take the handcuffs off of law enforcement and you put them on criminals where they belong.
Yep.
That's where
what we
them.
do. How do we get in touch with you? Anybody wants to get in touch with you? Go ahead and pop your
of course.
brand.
You guys can check me out at mxmsmedia.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at I'm Jesse Ryan.
Okay. And this episode will air on Wednesday. So
nice, man.
I got my I'm a huge MMA fan. This is my paid in full Dustin Poirier war hat and shirt. He fights his last fight on Saturday, which is going to be a sad day for me when I watch him roll out. But Jesse, again, I appreciate everything you've done. Without you, there is no Copville podcast. You are the
I appreciate you, man.
brains behind this. I really appreciate everything you've done for me, and keep doing what you're doing, man. We need guys like you out there.
I appreciate you, bro. Not in St. Lucie.
Yes, sir. Not in St. Lucie.
I'm the only white face in this area. You don't belong here. Stop, I'll shoot you in the back.